Welcome to Do It for the Gram, an Enneagram podcast with your host, certified Enneagram coach, Milton Stewart, where we do it for the Enneagram, not Instagram. We make moves to improve our lives and those in our community. So welcome to 2020. It is good to see or hear or have you as a listener here. And I hope that coming into 2020, you have kind of been rejuvenated, got a little bit of relaxation in over these holidays and days off, that you're ready for 2020 to grow, to do a lot of internal work, and just to be an overall better person, making healthier choices as we go into this wonderful year and new decade. This year, I got a lot of different things I had planned out to come throughout the year. And what I'm going to start with is the thing called passions. Each type, the passions, the vice, the emotional patterns. I'm going to break that down a little bit. But I wanted to start with that because this year I also wanted to teach the subtypes of each number so that people can get even more granular and specific on their specific type and their patterns. And so and really to understand the subtype, you need to understand the passion, vice/emotional pattern. So in these episodes, in this series we got coming up, it's just going to be about the passion, the vice, and the emotional pattern of each type. So this episode is going to be starting with the type 1. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Let's go intro music. All right, so you may be wondering, what is the passion, vice, or emotional pattern of your Enneagram type? Because you may have seen the different things and maybe not fully understand it. So what is the passion, vice, or emotional pattern? The passion, vice, or emotional pattern all represent the same thing and are used interchangeably throughout Enneagram teaching and books. The passion, vice, or emotional pattern is a specific habit that each type has that flares up hardcore. Unfortunately, the passion, vice, or emotional pattern can be so automatic or native to the way you interact with the world, you may barely notice it's happening or not even recognize it when it's happening. You may say, that is just the way I am, or I am this kind of person, without really examining why you react the way you do in certain situations. The Latin root word for passion is passio, which means suffering. The connotation of passion now is more of an intense care or enthusiasm for something, but the root meaning of the word passion is actually suffering. That is why it is used in many Enneagram circles, and especially those who built the foundation of the Enneagram years and years and years and years and years and years ago. The passion of each number is something we all are suffering or must endure through our lives. It does not mean suffer as in being excruciating pain, but more of a habit that seems to trap us and keep us and can lead us into pain within our lives. The Latin word for vice is vitium, hope I said that right, which means flaw, defect, fault, or error. Emotional pattern is a more new age term that I believe describes it well and makes it easier to communicate to people in our generation. I do not want to abandon the word passion or vice because they make a statement that this emotional pattern we struggle with is something we must work on. And it's not just a jolly old emotion. So throughout this, I will use them interchangeably throughout this whole episode so you can get a grasp on the language as well. So why is it important? Why is the passion, vice, emotional pattern important? Because the Enneagram is a growth tool. Many times people get caught in just getting the knowledge of it and seeing some of the patterns, but do not apply it to themselves in a way that helps them grow. When you start to notice and become aware of your passion, you realize when you may be moving towards unhealthiness and your type structure may be about to take over and react in an automatic habitual behavior instead of choosing the action you want to make. Disrupting your vice allows you to make better choices for your life and just maybe get the things you really want out of life and not settling for a knockoff, counterfeit, faux, or fake version of it. Quick, easy example. If you are looking for affection, attention, and love, but you settle for sex, which will never hit the mark of what you're really longing for, that is more of an extreme example, but this is the case for many areas in our lives. The power of the Enneagram is the internal work. Internal work is not like external work, which is usually fast and caught up in what others think, say, and do. Internal awareness is slower, quieter, more challenging, and way harder than external work. Why do you think so few people intentionally change for the better, unless something chaotic brings it to their attention that they must change? It is not easy, but if you are here, then you must be one of the people working on engaging in the challenging journey of internal work. Recognizing your emotional pattern is important if you want to dive into internal work and truly change your life for the better. What is my type's passion? The type 1's passion, vice, and emotional pattern is anger. Type 1s who have not done much internal work may look at this quite skeptically because it would seem that anger would or could tarnish their impeccable, perfect-ish nature that they strive for and present to others. Type 1s bridle their anger quite a bit and restrain it from being shown because within their type, typically it is seen as improper or bad to unleash and show their anger. One's anger typically comes from life not being what they think and feel it should be. Remember, ones are idealists, but they are different from sevens' idealism. Sevens want to create the extraordinary, and there are not confines, limits to the idealism that revolves around being fun and exciting. One's idealism, on the other hand, is more of the ideals of how the world could be, right? And utopian-esque. Type 1's personality wants to mold the world into what they believe the world should be. A lot of shoulding happens, especially when the passion comes into play with the type 1. A lot of shoulding, and that's like they should on everything. SHOULDING. Basically, this should be that way, that should be that way. You should probably do this. You should not do that. There's a lot of shoulds going on. This emotional pattern can turn the type 1's personality into a self-righteous know-it-all who can only see their way as the right, good, or correct way of doing something. It is also the opposite of what they want in their idealism. It has a tendency to push people away, and they exhibit behavior that is quite angry, like spitefulness, bitterness, critical, indignant, resentful, and even hostile in some rare cases.
Does your workplace stink because the culture sucks? Are you tired of tolerating people and wish you could all work together cohesively? Does the mere idea of going into work give you anxiety? If you said yes to any one of these, you should probably quit your job. But since you're not going to quit your job, you should contact Kaizen Careers. At Kaizen Careers, we are all about improving workplace performance. We use a unique tool called the Enneagram. The Enneagram helps individuals and organizations become more self-aware. That self-awareness lends into helping organizations with communication, conflict management, and leadership development, ultimately turning self-awareness into self-mastery and creating healthy workplace cultures so you can improve your services and bottom lines. Contact Kaizen Careers at KAIZENCAREERS.com or Milton at KaizenCareers.com or give us a call at 901-334-1644.
How did I get my passion? Well, it has to do with your childhood. Somewhere along the way, one's got the message that it is not good to express their anger, frustration, or resentment. And they channeled the anger typically in trying to do the right or good thing. Many ones excelled in school. One of my mentees is a 1, and he crushes academically, but he has so much anger about so many things. It blows me away. I work with him on being able to communicate that he is angry about something. So he lets me know quite a bit how he is angry about things he feels is unfair and all these things he feel that isn't done right or he doesn't think is right. He also showed me a behavior I had not witnessed from a type 1 because I took him to a Memphis Grizzlies game and they have a play kind of area. So I let him shoot around the basketball. And there was another kid there who had much more of a street edge and to him. So he was just naturally more assertive. I told the other kid to guard my mentee to see what he was made of. The other kid was much better at basketball, and after stealing the ball twice, my mentee just walked away and walked towards me to quit because he was angry that he was not good and felt embarrassed. I was so shocked he quit so easily, so I pushed him back out there and said, nope, keep trying. Quitting with the nature of withdrawing is also tied to anger as well. What can I do when I notice my passion is rearing its ugly head, aka anger for type 1s? Type 1s, before you believe that anger is bad or focus too deeply on ridding yourself of anger and overly improving yourself, remember that anger is not bad. It is an emotion, and depending on how we internalize and act upon it, it will determine if anger was used in a good, bad, or indifferent type of way. One of the biggest steps for an Enneagram 1 is to come in true contact with your anger. Really recognize when anger is rearing its head in your mind, heart, and body. Many times the body is giving you clues that you are mad about something. Usually it's a tenseness that happens somewhere in the body. For ones, a lot of times it's in your face. It's in your jawline. A lot of times for many ones. The inner critic is already probably telling you what is bad or wrong. So taming your inner critic is going to be a powerful exercise for you. Give your inner critic a name. The inner critic is that strong voice inside of your head that tells you what is wrong, right, good, or bad. You want to tame the inner critic and sit him, her, it down in the passenger seat of your car, not the driver's seat. You belong in the driver's seat so you can hear what the inner critic is saying. But you do not have to act on it, especially if the inner critic is cutting up and acting a fool over something that is not even that crucial. Following that work, you must also ask yourself not only why am I angry, but why does this anger me? There is a subtle difference, but definitely a difference. Example, why am I angry? Because they did not do it right and it looks sloppy. Why does this anger me? Because growing up, my family always wanted to be done, quotations, the right way, or they would shame me, or I would only receive praise for things that were done perfect, or if I was quote unquote perfect. So you have to dive deep into those things as a 1. Every time you start to feel the passion, the vice, the emotional pattern of anger start to flare up within yourself, if you want to combat that so that you're making choices that you want to make that are beneficial for your life and get you closer to the things you want and the people you want and not push you away because you've reacted automatically out of pure type structure. Well, that's all I have today. Here's some quick reminders. I have events coming up. 2020 is going to be on fire in a good way. I'm super excited. I have a lot of events coming up this year, 2020 in Memphis. I do have one really big event coming up, and you can sign up for that on my website, kaizencareers.com/events. There's one coming to Memphis. I'm still getting the locations down, but you're still able to sign up for it if you want. It's in June. It's an event in June. It's going to be my big event. It's a 2-day event, and I'm going to most likely have it at like a hotel conference room so people can kind of fly in and drive in and be able to stay, enjoy the conference and enjoy Memphis, enjoy shopping, the food, everything. I'm going to have it in a pretty nice area where all that's available. So I look forward to seeing you there, but also keep that in mind and put that on your calendar. It's going to be on the website where you will be able to sign up for it, and you can always contact me, as you know. Also, I have some local Memphis events, and if you're in town and you're out, please come through. It is, I'm doing the foundations to the Enneagram, and that's going to be February the 8th. The first one coming up is February the 8th. And what I really want to do with that is I want to really teach the foundation of the Enneagram to people who are really wanting to dive in and learn it kind of accurately and just be able to not only understand it, but be able to use it in a practical way. So it's going to be a workshop that I'm doing here, February the 8th. You can sign up on Eventbrite, or you can sign up at kaizencareers.com/events because it's on there as well. And that would be super cool to have you there. That'll be a fun workshop. We're having a good time, and it's going to be at a conference center at Jason's Deli, which is super cool, by the way, that they have a conference center attached to Jason's Deli. Really cool. But you can definitely do that. I would love to see you there. Any questions, contact me at milton@kaizencareers.com, or go to the website and just hit the contact me button thingy and just enter your info and I'll get it. Besides that, I have almost reached my Patreon goal, which is $100 to get that podcast editor rolling, to cover the cost of a podcast editor completely. Because as you know, podcasting is not free for podcasters, but it's free for listeners. So if you want to be an aid in helping to support this podcast so that I can have more time to get into the content and to share more things and create more, please go to patreon.com/ do it for the gram. Check it out. There's more things there. You get more content, more of a connection with me, and just more items and everything. And besides that, if you are looking for coaching or consulting or teaching for somewhere in your area, your business, your organization, even your church, you can contact me at milton@kaizencareers.com, and we can talk about and discuss what you're looking for, what I could possibly offer, and hopefully teach more people the Enneagram and help more people become better, healthier individuals for their community and themselves. So that's pretty much all I have today. And Enneagram 1s, if your emotional pattern, vice, and passion of anger is boiling up, before you react in a strong oneness, take a deep breath in your nose and out of your mouth. Slowly ask yourself why twice about your anger, and do it for the gram, the Enneagram, of course, and make a healthier choice. All right, we'll see you soon on the next episode. Bye.